I am becoming increasingly worried that we are setting ourselves up for yet another defeat with LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga on March 25th. That's the day I see floating around everywhere right now, and there's a lot of important points we need to cover about this. Things are at an all-time low right now for LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. There has been no news for the first time in a long time. We've had little snippets here and there every week. I know I read the comments like I've told you guys, and I get a lot of them saying there's no news, stop making these news videos, and there has, like I said, been little things, but recently nothing whatsoever. Until obviously this Future Games Show Spring Showcase was revealed for March 25th. I even covered this in one of my videos and said it's a possibility. I still believe this is a possibility, but what we need to do is prepare for the worst, because we've had way more defeats than victories with this game in terms of gaming events. I should know, I've covered quite a few of them myself, and it got to the point where this year there's been a few. There's been PlayStation themed events, Nintendo themed events, and I've stayed well clear of them. The reason for that is mainly because Microsoft have the marketing rights to the game. Obviously Xbox is owned by Microsoft, so I didn't really expect anything themed around PlayStation or Nintendo. No events like that. Obviously Future Games Show Spring Showcase, we know the game is coming out in spring unless that changes, and I think it is so plausible for something to be at this event regarding the Skywalker Saga. I've told you many times that TT Games may have had a trailer ready now since September. They may have had a trailer ready since the last one in August, but they would not release another trailer until they have a concrete release date for this game. I think that's what they're waiting on. So if we were to get something at the Future Games Show, it would be a trailer. There would be a release date in it if there was a trailer there. And I think the big thing I am waiting for is if we go back to August with the Skywalker Saga and we look at the day before. So obviously we got the trailer on the 27th of August. On August 26th, it was made clear to us that there would be a gameplay trailer at the opening night of Gamescom. And I would be expecting something like this again on March 24th, the day before this Future Games Show. If there is to be something at the event, I think it will be confirmed in advance. That's not to say if they don't do this, there's nothing coming the next day, but I would definitely keep your eyes on March 24th, maybe even more than March 25th, because that could really suggest if something is to come, if we get a pre-warning like this, just to let us know to tune in, because like I said, there's been so many events at this point that I think a lot of people don't even tune into them for specific games if there's no confirmation of them being there. I know I can safely say that. There's been so many events that I just haven't even given a second look recently, because there's been nothing confirmed for the Skywalker Saga. That's not to say with this one that I'll be turning my head away if there is no confirmation the day before, because I do think this is the most plausible. It's a Future Games Show about games releasing in spring. The Skywalker Saga, in my opinion, meets all the requirements here. I don't think you could argue with that. And what you have to prepare for is for this to be another defeat. And let me just make it clear, if I had to put money on the Skywalker Saga being at this Future Games Show, if I had to make an honest prediction, and nothing more than a prediction, I would actually side with it being there in some degree. Whether that is a trailer, whether it's just a mention with a release date, I'm not sure, but I would say it's far more likely for it to be there than not. So in response to that, why have I told you to prepare for the worst? Because I've seen what happens every time when we get our hopes up. We're let down, but not just that. What's very important here is that if you go into it thinking we're getting news, nothing else, and then we don't, if we don't actually get news at this event, that is way more damaging than you probably think. For me personally, if nothing comes at this event, that completely rules out this game arriving in May or any time before that. The gap just would be too small for them to announce a release date and then release the game in May. So if nothing comes here, not only is that a bit longer to wait for the game, but I would say that completely rules out this game coming out in April, even though I think April is out of the picture now anyway, but it completely rules out May for this game as well. The longer news is held back from us, and more importantly, the longer a release date is held back from us, that puts the game further and further away, because there has to be a significant gap between release date announcement and actually the release date itself. Now let's live in the reality for a second that I hope doesn't become an actual reality of this game not being at the Future Games Show. What does that mean? It doesn't mean the game's cancelled or the game's delayed even further. What it probably means is what I believe anyway, is that the game is probably going to come out in June, during that transitional period of officially spring to summer, around June 21st, and any time before or after that. But it would probably mean the release date and the trailer alongside it would just be posted randomly on the internet, a bit like the Force Awakens trailer was out of nowhere, and that's how the release date would be revealed to us. It wouldn't necessarily have to be at any event, which that isn't the case, by the way. Not every game has to be revealed at an event. So if we get nothing at the Future Games Show, my bet would be that the trailer's just randomly posted one day. Obviously, we'll all cover it, but it would be more interesting, I think, for it to release it at an event, honestly. I know there's no crowds there right now anyway. I would just prefer that method. But look, let's think logically. Let's not get ourselves into another situation. Don't rule out there being any news, but don't get your hopes up too much for March 25th, just in case. I think March 25th is likely, in my opinion, but I am ready for another defeat, and I am ready for what that means if there is nothing at this event. I think June is the most likely at this point, potentially just after summer starts. Even though that counts as summer and not spring, I would still say they could get away with it. Maybe very late June is what I'm thinking, but that's just nothing more than a prediction. So remain cautious, my friends. Do not get your hopes up, because I will be live streaming this event next week, and when the moment comes that the event ends, and if there's no news, I know there's going to be hundreds of comments already saying, I promised you news. That's not the case, but to those people that are going to say something like that, you clearly haven't listened to what I've said today. But that is it, everyone. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and if we do get any news in the meantime before March 25th, be sure to know that I will cover it. I will see you all next time.